Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. Today is an extra especially magical day because I have my dear friend Sarah Breskman Cosme here with me. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Erica.
I love having you, and I have a special reason for having you today because you wrote another book. You are just banging them out, Miss Rockstar book writer. This is amazing. Tell us about your third book. First of all, what's it called? And then, give us a brief synopsis, and then I'll ask you a ton of questions.
Well, I just love this is what I'm so passionate about. I love writing books. I mean, actually, I'm not the one writing it, but I love the adventure of going along on the journey. And this book, this third book of mine, is called A Hypnotist Journey from the Trail to the Star People. So it all started because I finished my second book. And like always, I'm just so hungry for the next thing, the next story. I can't wait. Just like right now, I just finished my book and I'm like, I can't wait for the next adventure,
Right, what's next?
And
Yeah.
and this client had come in maybe a month earlier, and he was talking about what his life was like as an extraterrestrial. He would go to different planets or different realms across the universe, and he would take different samples aboard the ship, and then he would focus his consciousness into the samples to see if the samples would respond. And if they would respond, then it means that that whole place could support life or could support a consciousness. So I asked his higher self after that session, after that memory, why did you show him this of all things? And his higher self said, well, we want him to really understand that he was part of creating the human design, because he doesn't understand, and humans don't understand that the design of the human is such that energetically they can create through their emotions. So the energetics of human is different than what people really understand, because the emotions are the gateway through the universe. So they wanted him to fully understand that he could use his emotions to basically start to get what it was that he was desiring. So they said they wanted him to focus on an emotion, and whenever someone feels something really strongly or like a strong emotion, it opens up different portals. They told him to do that, and then they wanted him to bring through this portal the possibilities that he was looking for. So in his case, he also wanted to write books, and they told him to do this once a week, and he will definitely have no problem. It will speed things up because he was slow in his progress. So of course, like thinking, oh, I want to try this manifestation technique myself.
Yeah.
So I went outside. I focused really hard on gratitude. I mean, it's easy when you're outside. And then I visualized the portal of light opening like I was supposed to. And then I just said to the universe, okay, bring me my next story. I want my next story. And my eyes were still closed when my phone pinged. Okay. Now that might sound like not a big deal, but
But it is.
my phone was on silent.
Oh, no way.
Yes. And then I thought that was really weird. How did my phone ping? I still didn't really like get it. I didn't think anything. I'm such a skeptic. It's hilarious. Me. So I thought, why did my phone ping? And then I looked and it was a message on Messenger. And it
Mhm.
was from this woman who said, I had this weird sudden urge to message you right now. I feel like there's something that I need to tell you, and I have no idea what it is, but I message you right now. So I thought, oh my gosh, I know this is not a coincidence. And then I just responded, first of all, how did you get a hold of me? And then because, when you message someone on Messenger, it has to be approved, but hers wasn't. It went straight through to me.
Oh.
So it didn't make any sense. And then I was like, have you ever tried hypnosis before? And she said no, she hadn't tried hypnosis, but she knew me because she read my first book.
Okay.
So she had read my first book. So I said, well, would you be open? I didn't tell her anything about what practice I was just doing. I said, would you be open to a hypnosis session just to see what comes up? And she said, sure, why not? Because she felt this strong feeling like she had stuff to tell me. So she comes in, she was nervous. It was her first session. This is a Caucasian woman in her, I guess, very early 30s. So she sits down for a session. I put her under hypnosis and she goes very deep very quickly. So I thought, oh, this is great. I wonder, kind of past life she'll have. All of a sudden, this other voice, well, it was her voice, but it was like a masculine sounding voice with an accent comes through. And this is what it said, word for word. My name is Anawaya. I'm the one who contacted you. I contacted you because I've been watching you in order for you to gain our trust. You finally gained our trust, and now I'm ready to tell our story.
Oh my goodness, Sarah.
So I was like, who is this Anawaya person? So I was like, who are you? And he said, I'm a Native American, a Cherokee Native American, and I'm currently walking the Trail of Tears. And I said, how are you speaking through my client? And he said, it's like a meditation that he's perfected over multiple years. So he can get into this meditation and focus his consciousness through his future life,
Hmm.
and he can speak to me. So
Oh.
it's not, it's sort, he said he was sort of like a past life, but he's also a parallel life.
Hmm.
So he can,
Right.
right, but he already knows in a sense this life, how it unfolds, because he's coming through to me from different perspectives. So wild, right?
So wild. Yeah, wrap your brain around all that, you
I
guys.
so when Les comes back out of the session, I thought, oh my gosh, what is she going to think? This is her first session. So she just looks really kind of like, that look that your clients get, like kind of just like, oh, okay, everything makes sense to me, because she had heard of Anna Wyatt before because she had had an imaginary friend when she was younger named Anna Wyatt,
Wow.
who she used to talk to. And then she realized that wasn't an imaginary friend at all. It was just a different version of her. And her not her mother, her grandmother was Cherokee. And so she was very interested to hear this firsthand perspective. So we worked together. I don't know how many sessions we did, but we pulled out the whole story of his firsthand perspective. But the book goes into, I include other subjects who also brought different important, valuable information to the whole story, because this obviously isn't just his story, it's all of our stories. And it's really important for this information to get out now. So that's like the brief synopsis.
Sarah, that's the brief synopsis. So I can only imagine how much is in this book, like how much knowledge is shared, because if he is going through that much effort to share what he shared, this has got to be extremely important for our collective right now.
It is. It's extremely important. And I understand that that is my role, just to, facilitate these books, but I'm not the one that writes them at all. I'm not nothing in there. So for me, this is an easy process because I don't write the books. But
Right.
I it's also very interesting and exciting for me. It seems like it's just such an exciting time that we're in because this information is allowed back to us. It's like we're remembering now.
Yeah.
We're starting to become who we were supposed to be, and we're starting to get this knowledge back and really we're starting to have a different perspective on our world and on who we are in relationship to this world, which is, we as a collective, we haven't really had this chance in a long time. So it's
Long.
very amazing. I mean, this book couldn't have come out at a different time. It wouldn't have been ready, just like my other books. So it's really interesting. I can't wait to see what they're going to show me next. I'm really
Right.
excited for my next story.
Well, I just gotta say too that I'm very impressed that you understood that it was this person reaching out to you and you went with that and offered her a session, that you just said, I'm gonna listen and this might be crazy, but this is what I'm doing. And that's how it worked out. And I think that's a really good example for everyone that when the universe aligns things in this way, to just go for it. I mean, because what harm could have been caused if it didn't work out, right? You would have offered someone a session and that would have been that. So what, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I love that you said that because it's so true with anything we do.
Yeah.
If we just look for these synchronicities, like, even I remember like a story of someone who got in a car crash and they were so mad at the person that crashed into them and then they got married later. You never know why these synchronicities are happening or why you happen to be in this place at that time. And it's always to help you. There's always a reason for everything.
Yeah.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about Function Mushroom Elixir. I originally had the founder of Function on episode 1856 to discuss the incredible healing power of mushrooms. Since then, I personally started taking the elixir regularly, and as someone who is not super sensitive to stimulants like caffeine, I was very pleasantly surprised by the boost and legal buzz it provided me. The elixir is designed to not only increase energy, but focus and libido as well, and it accomplishes all this with a mix of ethically sourced, high-quality lion's mane mushrooms, cordyceps mushrooms, ginseng, guarana, ginger, goji berry, rhodiola, holy basil, and lemon. It is also super easy to take in dropper form. So if you're interested in trying out the fantastic Function Fungi Elixir, head over to positivehead.com/shrooms and use code positivehead at checkout for 10% off.
All right. So now I'm curious about from the personal perspective of being on the Trail of Tears. I mean, I know a little bit about the history and what I do know, it was horrific, absolutely horrific. And that's not even a good word to describe it. Um, Tell us a little bit about the personal perspective.
I mean, it was more like genocide. It wasn't, it would, I guess I never really heard that perspective growing up in school. You don't hear that perspective. But, there's so many stories and so many memories that he shared that was nothing like anything I had ever heard. I mean, it was like just unbelievably terrible. But what was so interesting to me is that Anna Wyatt understood why the white men that did that to them were the way they were. And I asked him this. I was like, what happened to the white man? I mean, why did this happen? And Anna Wyatt's answer to me was really surprising. He said, most of us really understand that the white men lost their culture so long ago that they don't remember who they are because the white man's culture was robbed from them. They used to be witches, pagans. They used to dance amongst the fairies, and they had a very strong connection with nature, just like every other indigenous culture did. And he said that's all been taken from them. They don't even remember who they are. They've just been, kind of controlled by this negative force on the planet. So he said, I don't blame the white men, and I see right through to what's really controlling them. It was really interesting. And as he was describing like the history of what happened to them, he kept talking about the little people. He called it the Nunahey. That was his word for it. He said they came and they warned the tribes, many of the tribes, and said a really horrible tragedy is going to happen to your people. Get enough food to last you for 7 days, and those of you that wish to come with us will go deep underground into tunnels, and you will not have to deal with this horrible tragedy. They didn't say what tragedy was coming towards them. And some tribes did go with the Nunahey, or the little people, but Anahuaya's tribe didn't, because they felt responsible. They felt that it was their mission to carry on verbally their traditions. I mean, everything is definitely stored in the Akashic field, but Anahuaya said their tribe decided they were going to walk the trail, and they knew they had a basic idea because they had very strong connections to the star people. And this was really interesting. That's why the book was called A Hypnotist's Journey from the Trail to the Star People, because I didn't quite understand that they knew that they were star people. So they understood they were the human counterparts to the star people, and they were working in cahoots together. And the whole thing is really just a testament, because they were getting really close to ascension, or they understood they were pretty much where we're trying to go, already. And they're just a testament that nothing could really derail this ascension, because this ascension is happening no matter what negative part is trying to stop it. But we were just at the workshop, and you brought up something that they kept talking about, the indigenous cultures kept talking about, which is the law of this planet, this realm is duality. So they both feed in to each other. You can't have this good without the bad. This is all part of this experience on this realm. So it is understood when you leave your earthly body and you go back to the in between, that the negative is so needed, that it's part of the light. It feeds into one another, and it makes this a very grand experiment. And all souls that come to the earth know that they're part of this experiment when they come in. And so it's really important to understand that you don't have to cast out the darkness, but you have to integrate it.
Such an amazing point. Yeah. And we need to talk about that stuff more and more and more, because
Yeah.
our tendency is to want to separate, to push it out, to fight against, protect ourselves from, right?
Right, right. That's our instinct. That's what we think. And we really have to understand that it's not that way. We've just been programmed to believe that.
Mm.
But this is how this universe works. There's birth and death. There's light and dark, and they're all the same. They're the same thing. They're
Yeah.
all one. It creates that circle that, as the native or indigenous tribes always show the circle, and the star people always show the circle, is to remind you that this is all one, and we're all just part of this experiment. And the star people often show people the circle with a dot in the middle. It is to remind you of your point of perspective within this sphere, that this is just your perspective. You're literally creating your own reality, but this is a sphere where all is one.
Mm.
So it's like all these messages, they essentially come from the same place.
Yeah.
Excuse me, they come from the star people.
I I love that so much, because when I see that symbol too, I see the astrology symbol for the sun, and when I think the sun, like, that's our personality, that's our own personal perspective, our own self. We are each a little sun, right? If we're all a
Yeah.
sub of creator, that means a light, right? So creator, great central sun, and then our sun being a sub of that, we are a sub of that too.
Yeah, speaking of symbols too, I was just so surprised when I was working with Jen, my first client, and I had her draw the symbol of Lemuria, and she drew the four corner symbol. And
Hmm.
I thought, that's so strange. Really? Because that's, what the Native Americans use in the indigenous tribes. They use that as the four corner symbol. Then when I was working with Anawaya and other clients, I came to understand that the Native Americans were from, many, not all of them, were from Lemuria.
Mhm.
And so they carried this symbol with them as they came to the Americas. And I asked, why the Americas? Like, why, why did you go to the Americas? And that was going to be the what do they call it? The grounds for the awakening, like the stage, the platform for the awakening, because the ley lines and the energetic grids shifted from Atlantis, where the stage used to be, to America, to North America, basically. So they had to be the guardians of this place, and they still carried this sacred symbol. But the symbol originated all the way back from the Pleiades, and then went all the way back to uh, a different planet before that. So it's like the symbol is a holographic symbol that carries with it so much information.
Oh my goodness. Well, it just makes so much sense too, seeing what we're going through currently each and every day that, yeah, North America has been quite the stage. There's been a lot
Yeah.
going on there. Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of awakening happening here because of everything that's been going on.
Oh, definitely. It used to be very advanced, according to my clients under hypnosis. And there used to be a lot of advanced buildings, but they all got destroyed either during the diluvial times or from extraterrestrial wars.
Huh. I think I've seen those buildings
Maybe you have
in my,
in
well,
your mind.
in my own, no, in my own session. I've seen like on Earth advanced, but I knew it was ancient times advanced buildings. So that makes sense to me.
I know. Oh, speaking of something totally off the subject of my book, have you ever had clients remember the other timelines of Earth when it was destroyed?
Oh, all the time. All the time. Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like
And it's
there was,
really interesting. Some of them are like, what's that movie, Wall-E, where there's like mole people. I don't know. That was an
I
interesting
never
one.
saw it.
Or like machines doing things.
Oh, uh-huh.
Everything's dirt and dry and yeah, yeah.
So wild. Like it makes you wonder well, even the higher consciousness has said so much effort has gone into this timeline. People don't realize that. Like
Mhm.
enjoy it. Enjoy this timeline. Even
Yeah.
though it's difficult, but just watch it all unfold.
Greatest show in the universe, right? And we all wanted to be here. I mean, the souls are lining up to be here at this time because it's what's happening is happening. We're doing it.
I know. And
Mhm.
it's like they've said too, it's already happened.
Yeah.
And we're not going to destroy ourselves because we're here.
Mhm.
And everything that has already happened and everything that will happen is happening in the now. So that's how you know we win because we're still here.
Here we are now. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Still living our magical lives and creating light portals to manifest whatever we want, right? Because we can do that with our
Exactly.
emotions. I mean, it sounds so simple, but that's really the way it is. And the natives knew this. They knew that this was the reality. And this comes through also in my sessions all the time. And also the understanding of the elders when things happen, when traumatic things happen, they had such a united perspective of what's going on that sometimes the little ones didn't understand. But then as
Right.
they aged, they were taught that, oh, okay, this is all part of the one and all of the experience. Yeah, it's I think what it really comes down to is being close to the land, having
Mhm.
that that relationship every single day with nature and that respect. Did they talk
Oh my
about
gosh, yes. And what you said, the unity. I mean, Anaway always said the unity of our tribe is how we made it through. And it was so beautiful because they had these songs that they would sing. And at first, they would try to sing them, but they would be beaten. So they started to hum it. And if they hummed too loud, they'd be beaten. So they started to develop their telepathy and they started to sing it within their minds. And he
Mm.
said that's what they would spend their time doing a lot of the time is singing their songs in their minds with each other. And that would help them make it through. It would help the little ones too, kind of like have something to look forward to because they would sing these songs and they were really, expanding their telepathy.
Yeah,
But
absolute.
then the skinwalkers started showing up on their
For
trail.
real?
Yeah, because
You?
and Awaya said that their vibrations started to get lower as they became more numb. But the skinwalkers really wanted to frighten the white man though, because the skinwalkers are kind of like more they were kind of they understood they were closer in relation to the Native Americans. So the Native Americans smelled more like them. So they wanted to frighten the white men who smelled like something other than them.
Huh.
And sometimes they would lure them into the forest and they would never come back. It's really interesting.
That's fascinating because
I,
I just learned about the skinwalker and the native stories and yeah, and so it's in your book. That's fascinating.
Yeah, well, this was all his, perspective and everything of the trail. He had such a beautiful existence, even though it was hard and there was a lot of things that were difficult, but it was a beautiful story. And I just felt really honored that he, shared it basically with whoever wants to read it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that he was watching you and you got vetted, you
I
know?
know.
I mean, I would be so honored too.
I mean, it kind of freaked me out. It freaked me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
We're always like we're never alone. All of our guides are, watching us all the time, all the time.
All the time. I know we're never alone.
Are you ready?
I know. Are you ready? I'm ready. I am ready.
Oh my God, Sarah, you are the best. Tell people where they can find your book or your website or more about you.
You can go to my website, theholistichuhypnotist.com, and my books are on Amazon, A Hypnotist's Journey to Atlantis, A Hypnotist's Journey to the Secrets of the Sphinx, and now this one, A Hypnotist's Journey from the Trail to the Star People.
Oh my God, I love it. And the list will continue. So exciting. Amazing. Amazing, Sarah. Thank you so, so much. Any last words? Anything else you want to share?
Oh my gosh. Well, I just think right now it's just so important, just like the Native Americans and all the indigenous tribes we're talking about, to really start communicating with nature because there's so many valuable things that you can gain from doing this. I mean, this is really the place you can find so many answers.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I'm so glad we're remembering well. And thank you for contributing to this remembrance, Sarah. You're the best.
Thank you, Erica.
We love you guys so much. We're going to leave you with a song for today. This is Lawrence Laughing Unity Song. Until next time, we love you all.